That man stayed lying to folk. Boy, we just got to start it off like this, family. This man just be lying to the folk.
Insult to my existence.
He sat in that room last night and lied to the folk. Right after his wife kissed Kamami's husband on the lips. This man just be lying. All right, family. I know I wish I could have been home yesterday while this was going on. I probably would have had thousands of views by now, but nah, man, I ain't letting them get away with this. I ain't letting them get away with this. These lies he telling. Look at him. He already lying. Look at his smile. He already lying. All right, we're going to go over this. I think the speech was about an hour and a half. So we going to go through this, and I'm going to point out a lot of these lies he talking about. All right, go ahead. Fair use, by the way. Fair use. There's the book. There's the book of bullshit. There's the book of bullshit.
Hello.
Here comes the book of bullshit.
Thank you.
Look at look. Oh my God! They even brought out that decrepit. Never mind. I'm gonna leave Maxine alone today.
Privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Look at Miley and them. They don't even want to be there. God, dog.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you. You can smile. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please.
Actually, let me switch it to this. Yeah, let's get that.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress. By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Right. How much? All right. How much did McCarthy, who wants to take a speculation on the angle McCarthy had to put his body to receive the thing up his behind? How much? I say he did about, I say he went 135 degrees and he had to just take it. Gloria, good morning. Here we go. That is an ugly white woman, boy.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. And I want to
sell us out.
Congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, this coon. Lord have mercy. Boy, I can tell you stories about this man coming out of New York, boy. This coon right here. Look at him. Yo, his head why his head look like that? It might be the shadow. His head, man. One day I'll do a segment about this man.
He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Where's the Turtle Man? Show me the Turtle Man. Shout out to the Turtle Man. Oh my God.
Congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another.
And he was rocking that Ukraine tie. Did you see that, family? He was rocking.
As Senate Minority Leader. You know, I think he
was wearing that Ukraine tie. Look at that Ukraine tie, boy.
Chuck Schumer, another.
Of course, y'all give me
another term
limited.
as
Of course you did.
Senate Minority Leader. You know, I think you. This time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
I told you that lie. Hey, y'all going in there sucking her off.
Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all.
Lie number one. You did not create 12 million jobs, sir. You just reset what happened prior to 2020. Don't tell that lie. Sir, we have massive tech layoffs right now. Apparently they're saying that if once Kroger and Albertsons complete their merger, there's going to be the biggest industry layoff in history in that sector. Sir, y'all are allowing the elites to firebomb food facilities, which means those people are going to be out of work. Sir, truckers are being laid off. I guess you didn't tell people that little tidbit, right? We're going to be in a shortage very soon. I say by the time the summer rolls around. Small businesses are still closing, sir. Where are these jobs? Oh, I know. You're sending them overseas. There you go. That's where those jobs are going. They're not being created here. They're going to be sent overseas. Got it.
Because of the American people. 2 years ago, COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools were robbed of so much. And today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest.
Lie number two. The coffee venereal disease doesn't control our lives, sir. If they didn't control our lives, you still wouldn't be trying to push the Bell Biv DeVoe, sir. You guys wouldn't be paying millions of dollars on ad campaigns and having celebrities tell people to go get ascended. What do you mean it doesn't control our lives, sir? What do you mean? New York City just said they lifted their mandate. Sir, what do you mean it still doesn't control our lives? You want it to control our lives because you want to continue giving the elites the wealth. You want to continue to keep people downtrodden. You want to keep people in control, sir. Your administration is about control. At least with the Orange Man, at least we could go out there and make our money and he'd actually leave us alone. But you're using this as a control of our lives. So we're not even 10 minutes in and you've lied twice already. But okay, you got it, sir. Continue.
Threats of the Civil War, and today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken. As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I said I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
okay, sir, your Inflation Reduction Act is BS. We already know this, sir. We know this. I bet you didn't tell the American people that in the next 3 years, cops will be able to shut your car off. I bet you didn't tell them that. Now, did you? You didn't tell them about all that nice infrastructure bill means that we're going to lose gas stoves. You can't even burn wood. Fireplaces will be outlawed. You didn't tell them that. Now, did you? Did you also tell them that hidden in the language of that bill that it's going to become illegal to even fish? Did you tell them that you might lose the ability to collect rainwater in the states that allow it? You didn't tell them that, now did you? Yeah, you didn't tell them that. I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
it's important.
What the hell? Oh, Lord.
And in fact, I signed over three,
Son.
came together to defend a stronger and generation infrastructure
Son,
law.
wait a minute.
2 years.
Where is old girl? What is she wearing, sir? Why does she look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? What is she wearing? What is this? What? Boy. Y'all letting the craziest person out of the squad dress modestly. You come in looking like Stay Puft. Oh, I get it. This is a Beyonce remix from the brunch, from the Rock Nation brunch. Got it.
And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, we could work together the last Congress. There's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
Which means not passing reparations. We know this. We understand this. When it comes to black folks, yeah, we're all in on that. We're cool with that. That's where we need to be at. When it comes to having illegals come into the country, yeah, we're all in on that. Yeah, we're good. Anything to benefit black folks, yeah, we're all in. Not to do it. We get it, sir. We get it.
I think for decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in not one administration, but for a long time. Too many good paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride.
Negro, oh Lord. One more time. I gotta play it. One more time.
Insult to my existence.
Sir, you were in the Senate when all those factories were closing. You were a representative when in your state of Pennsylvania when all these factories were closing. So we're not going to do this. You oversaw the erasure of the manufacturing industry while you were in Congress, sir. You didn't lift a finger to do anything for that. You were in office when Obama was letting all those manufacturing companies, including the car companies, go overseas after getting bailouts. They still went overseas. They went to Mexico, sir. And you didn't do anything. You didn't say none of this back then. You were cool with it. Now you want to play. Now you want to play because you're about a year and 9 months away from being elected. Hopefully again. And you have to try to change who you are. We have the receipts, sir.
Our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone. So we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
I'm not paying for any illegals. Look at Warnock. This man need to go to sleep. Why is he there? And Bernie, son, never mind. Go ahead, Bernie. We're going to get you later.
I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low.
Is he serious?
A near record unemployment.
Why are you telling this lie, sir? Stop lying, sir. People are not going back to work, sir. They're not going back to work, sir. Why do you keep saying this stuff? People are not going back to work, sir. Unemployment, y'all always love to tout these low unemployment numbers, and y'all never factor in people that do not even go search for work. Sir, you're able to tout that because a whole bunch of Californians and Texans ran to Mexico. And they get to work remotely. They're not even counted in the numbers with the population, sir. They left. Y'all love to bring this stuff up when it's convenient for you, but y'all don't tell the truth. I'm going to need y'all to start telling the truth. Warnock needs to go to sleep.
Near record unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, your help, 800,000 good paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. And where is it written? Where is it written that America?
Where's the pipelines? Where's Keystone? Why is Keystone not up and running, sir? That was like 10 grand jobs right there. Come on now.
America can't lead the world in manufacturing. And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks,
where, sir? Where? Where are these jobs, sir? Where? Do you realize before the pandemic, people were making money, taking care of their families? Now that this allegedly, you're saying the pandemic's over, they're taking jobs now that they made less money at. Sir, they have to basically start over. You're going to tout that. All right, say less.
Inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies. blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak.
Gotcha. That's a lie, sir. That's a very big lie you just told. Oh, we're going to dispute that right now, sir. You said inflation is down to 3.4%, sir. Biden. Sir, your peak was the highest in history at 9.1. You're down to 6.5, sir. 6.5. That's still high, sir. Conservatively, inflation should be around between 2 and 4%. You're at 6.5, sir. Sir, you said gas is down $1.50 since you took office. Sir, when you came into office, gas was around $2 on average. In California and Alaska, I think it was around $3.89. And I heard from California people, they were in heaven. Gas right now over there is back up to almost $7, sir. Now, I know what you're doing. You're trying to take credit for what Kemp did down here when he suspended the gas tax. You're trying to take credit for that. Sir, that's a state thing. You can't do that. You can't take credit for that. Sir, I was fortunate enough to be in Georgia. Gas was under $3. We were loving it. Now it's shot back up. Sir, would y'all like to see what the gas average is right now? We have the numbers. Biden, would you like to explain to the people? We're going to take you off the screen for a minute. Would you like to explain to people how you're telling this lie? Here we go. Tabernacle. The Hill caught you. This was 2 days ago. The national average is 349, sir. $349. Sir, why are you telling this lie? Here we go. We'll go to AAA's. National average, 344. We'll call it 345. New York, 354. Delaware, where you were born, 329. Pennsylvania, 374. Sir, why are you telling this lie? The South, outside of Florida, is the only band of states that are under low prices. Sir, why are you telling this lie? All the blue states like New York, Maine, Massachusetts, Illinois, $3.59, Colorado, almost $4, Colorado. Sir, California, $4, Nevada, $4.06, California, almost $5. Some places it was $6. Oregon, $3.76, Washington, $4.12. Sir, why are you telling these lies? Why are you telling these lies? Come on. Biden, you know better than that. Sir, you know better than that. I know when you go gas up your vehicles, you try to find one with an ice cream parlor. I get it. Don't tell these lies, sir. You will get fact checked. And by the way, I was in Kroger Monday night. There was barely any meat in the counter. Now they might have not gotten to fill up the aisles yet, but there was barely any meat except pork. Sir, there was no fish, sir. because they usually have salmon out. There was no salmon, sir. Why are you telling these lies? There was no heavy cream in small bottles, sir. Why are you telling this lie? You've been in office for 2 years, sir. 2 full years, and you have not fixed the supply chain. LA's ports are still under a bottleneck, sir. Why are those not fixed? That would help bring down inflation, sir.
Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America.
And you're about to sell out Taiwan. You're going to sell out Taiwan. Y'all are upset at Taiwan because Taiwan is trying to get into the chip game. And if they get into the chip game, they ain't going to need you no more. And they going to tax the brick for those chips. Sir. So you're going to sell them out to China very soon. You got it. Jacques Sherrod, hello. Yeah, where I go down here in South Florida, it was $3.29 a couple months ago. Now it's between $3.41 and $3.49, depending on the gas station. Yep. My gas station right next to me is $3.35. Well, both of them are $3.35. JD Informer, hello. Yeah, Biden was on his BS last night. He told more lies. Don't worry, we're gonna get to him.
We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down.
No, we didn't, sir. We had the edge, sir. We had the edge. Yes, production went down a little bit, but don't make it seem like production just stopped. Production stopped in 2020, sir. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
Not only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off. So did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
You better not. You better not. You better not. You better not. You're dog whistling, sir, because that's going to threaten your nice little Inflation Reduction Act and your Chips and Science Act, because you need electric cars to fund that. And most Americans aren't going for that. Yes, you could see Teslas running around, but they had Teslas before you even pulled this crap. Sir. No. Okay. No. The average electric vehicle has about 2,000 chips, roughly double the average number of chips in a non-electric car. Via scientificamerican.com. Nobody wants this, sir. We don't want electric vehicles. We don't want your Chips and Science Act. We don't want that because it's full of pork, including stuff with the cops in it. But, you know, it's another subject for another day. Look at the jerk chicken jackass right here. She look like she about to go to church for Easter service. And I don't know what's going on with this woman right here. She doing too much. Look at them Republicans, boy.
I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing my view. We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America.
Dude, how about fixing the supply chain in LA first before you start talking? Fix the supply chain in Baltimore. Fix the supply chain in Florida. Fix the supply chain in New York, in Texas. Then we can talk.
We've already created. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on 1,000 acres, literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment, 7,000 construction jobs, 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. Jobs.
Yeah.
Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans.
This was the family. This was the same jerk off who was monitoring what was happening in Mason, Tennessee. This was the same dude. This was the same dude who didn't intervene when Mason almost got taken over, because he could have just made a phone call and that would have been ended. Sir, how about you talk about all the people that are foreclosing right now? You're about to have a real estate problem that you had 15 years ago, sir. I think you need to address that. No, but I get it. Your buddies at BlackRock and Blackstone, they're just going to sweep it all in and just take all of it. Yeah, that's the plan. You got it.
And they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know,
look at all them Ukraine, man.
We used to be number one in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure.
Well, you started out with 13 colonies, so.
But now we're coming back because we came together and passed a bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
And what did that interstate highway system do, sir? Did that not disenfranchise black folks? All right, say less. Look at Kuntanji right there. Wait, Clarence didn't show up? Wait a minute. Clarence didn't show up? Uh-oh. Wait, these might be the Democrats. No, that's Amy. Wait a minute. Where's Clarence? Clarence. There's no Clarence. What is? Uh-oh, Clarence said I ain't showing up.
And folks,
Clarence.
already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And I mean it sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
I'm sure.
Look. This law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, we've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans, and from both states, to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years.
Hang on. Hey.
For 30 years. I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy America. Folks, and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America. Made in America.
Via China.
I mean it. Lumber, glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listen to me tonight. I know you feel.
Hello, Dominic. Brother Gravity. Didn't he say a while back, black people in rural areas? Yes, sir. He said that they didn't know how to use the internet. Jack question, how many times are they going to get up and clap? Damn. That's the State of the Union. Oh, don't worry. Very soon it's about to get spicy.
Feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy.
My man, you were the same one that said black kids were just as smart as white kids. Or did you forget that you said that?
Where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back. Because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America, make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name happens if your spouse gets cancer, or your child gets deadly ill, or something happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or you're going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it. I get it.
JD Informant said, what's crazy is when Trump was doing this Made in America stuff, the Democrats were booing and calling it xenophobia. Right. Because they thought he was just catering to white folk. Biden saying this and clapping, and they're all clapping because, remember, this is the most inclusive administration in history. All those manufacturing jobs, all those construction jobs, all those materials that they want to use for America are going to come from outside America labor. That's probably the first true thing he said all night. Dominic said, wasn't his father a racist too? They call Trump's father a racist too. You mean his actual dad? I'm not sure, but I know he thinks Robert Byrd is his daddy. Trump's father, I'm sure, was a racist. And Trump downgraded to a bigot. Biden's father, I'm sure, grew up and was racist, and his dad carried on, and his son carried on the legacy.
I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth.
Sir, that was by design. Y'all want us to pay the most. A cancer pill only takes $4 to make. Y'all charge $600. You let the companies charge $600. Sir. Because you want them to make record profit so their lobbyists can come down to DC and kiss your ass. And Flournoy, good morning.
For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do.
Listen to this lie.
But every
Dude,
day, millions need.
Why are you telling people their medical problems? Dude, what is wrong with you? But if we say something about your dementia, your people come outside on us. All right. Thank you for opening the door, Brother Biden. And you're not my brother. I'm just saying.
Need insulin to control their diabetes so they can
Who is this camera person? They wrong for that.
literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years.
Uh-huh.
The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone.
Uh-huh.
It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin.
Yes, they do.
Packaging and all, you may get up to $13.
Mm-hmm.
But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits.
Right.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, fucking right. Oh. What's up, Jay? Hey, Ricky Manor, good morning. Why he lie like that? You ain't finna tell Big Pharma they can't make no profit. Are you insane? Sir, Trump had the cap on insulin. You let them raise it back up, sir. Stop telling this lie. Damn. These jalapeno chips are good. Mm. All you F's in there clapping over this, yo lobbyists from Big Pharma finna call you. Well, they probably called you by now. Or they're gonna sit down with you at lunch. Or be like, you really about that? Like, nah, that was just show.
So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare.
Didn't Trump cap it at 15? Or am I wrong about that? Mark Bruce Wayne Brown, hello. You seem new. Hello. A lot of people won't let you bash their savior, racist savior. I do it all the time. Guess what? I've been doing it so long, they can't even dispute what I say. Let me look this up real fast. Pretty sure Trump capped it at 15. Let me see. I could be wrong about that. Let's see. Let me keep playing this while I look this up.
People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes who need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35.
Okay, so I just looked this up. It's the same damn price. It says one volunteer. This is on AFP.com. Their fact check section. It says one voluntary program initiated by the Trump administration and impacting insulin prices did go into effect in January 2021. The program announced in May 2020 by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services sees more than 1,750 Medicare Part D prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans cap co-payments for insulin patients at $35 per month. So you just took this man's name off of it and then put your name on it. And this model follows on the Trump administration's previous announced 13.5% decline in the average monthly basic Part D premium since 2017 to the lowest levels in 7 years. So you basically just slapped your name on it. All right, say less.
The big pharma is still going to do very well. I promise you all. I promise you they're going to do very well.
Because they got other drugs that they're about to peddle on the market, including the drug that is going to help with myocarditis because of their damn Belviv-Devoe. Oh, yes, family. Pfizer and Moderna are developing drugs to fight the myocarditis that their Belviv-Devoe cause. Who needs insulin at a $35 per month copay? Then we're going to make about $10 to $12 per shot. They're fixing to get trillions of dollars off this heart medication.
This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from $10, $11, $14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs.
Yeah, that's something Flournoy. Create problems that sell you the cure ain't that rich. Yep, Chris Rock said it best. The money ain't in the money ain't in the cure. The money's in the medicine.
If drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money. It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs.
All these mammies in here yucking it up, shaking their head like they into something. Man, they found them some good ones, boy. Let's go back a little bit.
For the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise,
look at all the
faster than
mammies
inflation,
shaking
drug
their
companies
head.
are going to have to pay
Say, yes,
Medicare
girl, that's
back the
right.
difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money. It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, there's one. There's
These
one.
prescription drugs are drugs.
You know what else brings down the federal deficit? Getting our intellectual property back. That's what Trump was doing. Bringing the jobs back over here, exporting more. Yeah, that brings down the deficit as well. Oh, yes, Dominic Bright. This administration is using Trump-era policies. Trump was putting tariffs on steel, etc. Actually, more money was in our pockets. Yep. What the Democrats don't like to admit is the Keystone Pipeline was actually going to restart the steel industry, which is a very big part of the economy. Because as you know, crude oil can be turned into steel. You didn't have to import the steel anymore. And you could have had a trade partner with China. Not China, I'm sorry, Canada. And you would have had basically almost an unlimited supply of steel that you could keep most and sell the rest. But again, Democrats don't like to stimulate the economy.
Purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why wouldn't we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm not going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yes.
Coach.
Yes.
That's okay. That's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake. If you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it.
Okay.
Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law signed last year,
that bullshit.
saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid. Look.
So we want Medicare Part E, F, G, LGBTQ. All right, say less.
The Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills. Creating
Bullshit.
jobs.
Bullshit.
Leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, that I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery, from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term.
Right.
New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed that will cost the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers.
And Flournoy ain't with it. That's Chicago for you. Go to hell. Come back when you sign Medicare for all. He ain't gonna do that. Mark Bruce Wayne Brown for the Black Folk platform. F you. It's embarrassing and disgusting. Come on, they gotta buck dance. DSP, good morning. Thank you for the $20. Biden is so full of himself. He is. Hey, Biden, when you install these 500,000 electrical vehicle charging stations, are you going to address the rolling blackouts that are about to happen? Because they're happening in California and they're all over the place. Are you going to do that? Let me know. Newsflash, sir, the technology is not there. I don't know why do y'all keep trying to tell us that it's there and we need to go do this. The technology is not there, sir. Electric vehicles cost more than the vehicles that you got on the road right now, sir. Sir, the battery takes 99 years to decompose, sir. You're going to hurt the environment doing that, sir. How does the battery cost more than the entire car, sir? These same electric vehicles that you want to put on the road. Again, 2026, you're going to give the race soldiers the opportunity and the means to shut people's cars off. So you're going to add to the racial profiling in this country. Sir, All they have to do is sit in a black neighborhood or Latino neighborhood. Well, we'll just keep it all black. Let the Latinos deal with that. A black neighborhood, and you can screw with people for no reason. We all know, we all have cars, I assume. We know about the first 7 days of the month and the last 7 days of the month. Yeah, those quota times. Yeah. Now we're going to have quotas between 28 and 31 days out of the entire year. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy efficient appliances.
Here we go.
Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land.
By the way, since you mentioned energy efficient appliances, you're about to get boycotted by the entire AIPI community, sir. Biden, your electric gas stove thing that you put out last year, you do realize that Asian restaurants depend on about 200,000 BTUs to cook that food, right? You do know this, right? But I saw you tell your propagandist pieces like the Washington Post and those local liberal newspapers in those cities like Oakland to go to Asian people and have them use induction burners with their woks and then tell everybody how great it is. You just got to get used to it. Them old folks ain't gonna get used to that, sir. Those Asian Americans, you think a couple $1,000s in tax breaks are going to get them to change over to electric induction? So they're already gonna lose their ability to be efficient cooks. But okay, they eliminated their gas bill, but their electric bill is going to go sky high. Because contrary to what you think, sir, it takes actually less time for a gas burner to heat up than an electric. And I've worked in Chinese restaurants, sir. You turn off that induction burner, you're going to have to wait a few minutes for it to get back to temp. Thank you, M. Flournoy. Induction don't work unless it's resting on the element. Won't be no tossing with induction. Yeah. So it's not going to be called stir frying anymore. Biden, did you tell them this? Nah, you didn't tell them this. Interesting. You got it.
Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren to confront it. I'm proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job.
Right.
We pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share.
No.
Let's begin. Look, I'm a capitalist.
Y'all heard him say it. Y'all heard him say it. I'm a capitalist. You heard him say it. So now he just pissed off all the socialists in the room. But Biden, you know damn well ain't no corporation gonna pay their fair share. You know this, sir. Let's not tell this lie. Y'all love it when them corporations get those massive bonuses at the end of the year and they're able to pay less taxes because it keeps the economy going. You make them pay their fair share, you're going to have massive layoffs, sir. Guess what? Family, did you know this? we're going to take Biden off the screen for a minute. Family, did you know that Zoom is about to lay off 98% of their workforce? I'm sorry, they're about to lay off 1,300 workers. And the CEO took a 98% tax cut. Did y'all know this? Yes. We're going to go to NPR for this because I'm going to use a lefty site. I'm going to use a lefty site because if I use Fox News or something, y'all might yell at me and whatever liberal come up in here tell me that I'm telling lies. There you go. Tabernacle. Zoom is the latest tech firm to announce layoffs, and the CEO will take a 98% pay cut. 98%. So that means they were making over millions. They'll take a few $100,000. Okay, say less. And here's your CEO, Eric Yuan. Zoom, which became a hallmark of the COVID-19 pandemic, probably going to get hit by whatever. It's the latest tech company now turning to layoffs as it looks to navigate life after. The company is laying off some 1,300 employees, or about 15% of its workforce. CEO Eric Yuan announced Tuesday in a note to staff he did not specify the breakdown of U.S. and non-U.S. employees. Quote, as the world transitions to life post-scamdemic, we are seeing that the people and businesses continue to rely on Zoom, he wrote. But the uncertainty of the global economy and its effect on our customers means we need to take a hard yet important look inward to reset ourselves so we can weather the economic environment, deliver for our customers, and achieve Zoom's long-term vision. Yuan explained that Zoom, which he founded in 2011, had scaled up rapidly to manage the demand of the scamdemic, tripling in size within 24 months. But he also acknowledged that it didn't spend enough time assessing whether that growth was sustainable or towards the highest priorities, meaning he saw the money. Damn the consequences. Yuan took responsibility for those mistakes and said he would show accountability by reducing his salary for the coming fiscal year by 98%, as well as foregoing his 2023 corporate bonus. Of course. Members of Zoom's executive leadership team will reduce their base salaries by 20% for the year, forfeit their corporate bonuses too, he added. His base salary last year was $301,731. Right. He's probably got more money than God, so he could afford to take 1 year off. Here we go. Yuan offered support to departing Zoomies, including up to 16 weeks salary and healthcare coverage, and pledged that the layoffs would not be made in vain. Does that pay cut include his bonus check or just base salary? Both. Jay the informant. Both. So he's going to go down. If he's making what he made last year, he's going to go down to about, he's probably only going to make maybe like $20,000, I want to say. Right? No. Wait, 98%. That's about. That ain't shit. He's still going to make about 100,000, close to. I could be wrong. No, I'm wrong. That would be 66%. Yeah, he's gonna make what somebody in the lower class makes, but he's got enough bonus money to sit down. He probably lives off the bonus money and just pockets the salary. Bless his heart. He's so nice. Screw him. Back to Biden and his lies. Because we're about to get to the part where the Republicans went in on him.
I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share.
Bullshit.
I think
Sir, okay, if you're a capitalist, pay your fair share. Give back that Burisma money. Pay your fair share. I know you ain't paying no tax on that. You probably got it overseas. Pay your fair share. Follow your advice.
a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know the tax system is not fair. It is not fair. Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not.
How y'all tell that? Sir, you were around when Enron was making record profits, sir. When Ken Lay and his man were pocketing 9 figures. We're not doing this, sir. You watch MCI fall, sir. You watch TWA fall, sir. What other? Who else fell? You were president when Sprint had to restructure, sir. You were around when Nextel got sold, sir. You are not about to sit up here and tell us that you want corporations to pay their fair share. Well, you were sitting there in 2008 watching all people from AGI and Merrill Lynch and goddamn Goldman Sachs. All these fuckers were making so much money that every week people were protesting, talking about, oh, Wall Street got to pay their fair share. And y'all had the power to put out legislation to stop that. It took the end of the world for y'all to say we can't allow this to happen again. So you sat up there, y'all gave them bailout money. You forced smaller banks to be infused into the bigger ones. You created a system that you supposedly say can't fail. But now Jamie Dimon and all of them are making a record profit. And every 3 years, Jamie Dimon give back some of his bonus money just to shut y'all up. Man, if you don't sit down somewhere, if you want everybody to pay their fair share, then you tell everybody in that goddamn room that make money from them lobbyists and them companies that they kiss ass for and try to lie to us every 5 minutes about this is what you need to vote us in for so we could get this done. You need to tell them to give back all their bonus money, including the fake Indian that you got on the screen there. That's everybody in that room need to give back their bonus money, including you, sir. Tell Kamami to give back all the bonus money she got from the South Asian and AAPI caucuses and groups when she ran, and are still giving her a little something on the side. Tell McCarthy to do that. Tell Turtleface McConnell to do that. Nah, you ain't gonna do that. Because in a way, Marjorie Taylor Greene exposed yourselves. She said her salary ain't hitting. She made more money as a regular citizen. People don't want to invest in her, so she can't get them perks. So she decided to go outside and spill the beans. I need all y'all to give back that money and put all that extra money y'all getting, put that in the reparations pool. And then use all those extra slush funds that y'all got in the government. Add that to that, pay these people their reparations. So that way they can restart their lives and you don't have to hear about it no more. That would be good for the economy.
Fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And I need to be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny.
BS. 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 Biden. Biden. Why do you tell these lies, sir? Biden, why do you tell these lies? Dude, you're already telling Congress on corporate stock buybacks. Sir, you're already telling people in Congress to raise that up. This guy. Yes, Warren does look defeated. She got nothing that she ever wanted.
But let's finish the job. There's more to do. We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax.
Here we go. Listen to this.
There's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it.
Again, you're a capitalist. Why would you be against that? You said it yourself, sir. You're a capitalist. Why would you be against that? Sir, when you got in, you signed that stupid ass Build Back Better plan. We got the hit for it, sir. Unless you had kids. We got hit for that. You hit us with that, but then decided to prop it up with the child tax credit, sir, which you ended this last year. So we couldn't even get it for this year. We got it one time. Well, one cycle, I should say. Hmm. Let's talk, sir. We can talk. Family. Let's talk. Did you know that there's a tax hike coming? Did y'all know that? Yeah, there's a tax hike coming. He signed it into law last year. They like to have their fact checkers come outside and say it's a lie. It's actually the truth. But this man lies. Oh, yes, I'm Flournoy. Yeah, it's coming. It's built in that bullshit Inflation Reduction Act. See, to get those chips over here, he's going to have to raise taxes, especially since the supply chain is effed up. He's going to have to raise taxes because the price of shipping has shot up astronomically. We're going to have to foot that bill. We're going to have to do that. Instead of fixing the supply chain, he's going to want it to work this way because he makes more money when it's not flowing. Yeah. That's one thing they don't like telling you guys. By the way, if you did your taxes this year, just be prepared to have less money than you got last year. Just be prepared for that. I talked with my accountant on Monday. Yeah, we got less. We got about, what did we get? We got about 60% less than we got last year. 60%. Well, part of that was on me, but part of that was, was this new budget, where all his initiatives are starting. Yeah, but Ukrainians and Afghans and the Somalis who are going to try to be the next black people up, they're getting debit cards with Social Security money on it. But that's y'all's Biden.
I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year, they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade, and that's going to exceed.
Did y'all hear what he just said? I'm fixing to play it again. Did y'all hear what he just said? Go back 15 seconds. Look at Turtle Face.
Production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade, and that's going to exceed.
Sir, you were sitting here touting all this clean energy bullshit, but then you were telling them to go get oil? You're going to need oil for a decade?
Beyond that, we're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the.
Sir, we're not going to do that. You're not going to lie. Sir, you're not going to lie because Trump told you, you get the pipeline working, you won't need it. You're not going to tell that lie. You will not tell that lie. I just put it in the chat box. This site. That's the quote at the end. That's how they're going to try to swing it on y'all. Biden. Y'all love lying again. Sir, you know you need oil. Trump told y'all, get that pipeline working. You won't have to worry about none of these problems. Hell, you could even accelerate the bullshit you're trying. No, you sat there and said, I'm not going to frack. Then you got caught on it and called out. Then you said, we're just not going to frack on federal land. Then when you got in, you shut down the pipeline. Now gas prices are skyrocketing. So instead of having gas here, you're going to export it, which causes it to go up. You got called out by Saudi Arabia for doing it. You're trying to overthrow Brazil's because you're going to try to use Brazil, allegedly, to get at Venezuela so you can get their oil. You're really mad, sir. Let's tell the truth. You're really mad at Russia because Russia can control the world's oil if they really wanted to. That's why you're really mad. That's why y'all are in this war. Let's just tell the truth. As much as it is about the Azovs and you want to be the police of the world and you want to help out the dancer turned president, sir, you really upset that Russia could control the oil market if they really wanted to. And you don't have a defense for that because you sat right there and let the Keystone Pipeline, along with your boy, Obama, you didn't want to open it. Because it would have enabled Americans to set the price. You guys wouldn't have been able to set the price because they get to control the production. It's funny how you guys never tell this side of the story. That's why, Biden, you really hated the Keystone Pipeline. Because the workers that would have been on it can regulate how much they pump out per day. So if y'all get to screwing with them, guess what? They slow it down. Then they go to the negotiating table and say, we're not going to pump a damn drop out until you guys pay us more. And we know the history of America when it comes into into the unions, especially ones that are against them. But y'all never want to tell that side of the story. But go ahead. Tell some more lies.
The record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding the CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments.
Uh-huh.
They'll still make considerable profit. Let's finish the job and close the loophole to allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting
like y'all in that room,
the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible.
Wealthy tax cheats, he says. Wealthy tax cheats. They love telling on themselves.
In the last 2 years,
That man right there just erred.
my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row.
That's a lie. That's a lie. His first year it didn't go up, sir. So you're already telling lies. Number two, the reason why it went up was because of the pandemic. That's where most of the gains came from, sir. But I know you're not going to. Maybe you'll tell them. I stopped
because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessors. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one.
Because of the pandemic, sir. Because of the pandemic. You love to bring up the pandemic when you want to tell everyone what gains you made, but why don't you tell them the pandemic had to raise that debt? Why didn't you tell them that? Why did you not tell them that he had to pump $7 trillion into the economy to keep it flowing? Sir, y'all were the same ones that did not even give him credit for creating jobs during the scamdemic, the early stages. Y'all didn't even want to give him credit for that. Y'all had CNN shocked that he was making jobs. Y'all don't want to tell this, right? All that money, all the $600 they had to pay out, all the PPP loans they had to pay out, all the propping up of the businesses, all the Bell Biv DeVoe production they had to go pay all these companies to do. Keep Congress paid. Keep these states running. Yeah. You didn't mention that now, did you? Y'all making it seem like 2020 was just a regular year. He got voted out. Nothing happened. And he just spent $7 billion because he probably thought he was going to lose. So he said, let me just throw that money out there, see what sticks. Yeah. There you go again, telling lies, sir.
They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out.
By the way, all the fact checkers, all those news organizations fact checked you and said you were wrong or you needed context, sir, because you didn't explain yourself. See what you did here? You didn't explain yourself. See, if you would have said in 2020 because of the pandemic, people would have said, okay, you know what, that makes sense. But you didn't want to say that. Got it.
How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster in the country.
Sir, the country was in a disaster that entire year, sir. People were in their homes. The economy was in ruins. Sir, why are you telling this lie?
So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So many of them, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by
What the hell is she wearing? Hang
I'm
on.
not politely, but it's being proposed by.
Damn, she looked like a whole supervillain. Fam, she looked like a whole supervillain. What is she wearing? It's cold in there. You that cold, man? Come on now. But let's talk about what Biden said about Social Security and Medicare. They started yelling at that man. He was a liar. Here he is. So it says, although Biden noted that he wasn't saying the majority of Republicans wanted to do so, he was immediately showered with boots from the other side of the aisle. Biden also pointed out that during the previous administration, Congress raised the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis, which we know was a lie, and that I'm asking this Congress to follow suit. Let's see. Let us commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. Well, we heard him say that. Here we go. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has publicly said that the potential cuts to Medicare and Social Security are off the table, but that didn't stop the boos getting louder. As Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a populist firebrand, could be heard yelling liar at Biden multiple times from the audience. So they took it off the table, but he's gonna do that.
I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's.
Look at this. Where is she going? Oh my God. Yo, her hair don't move, fam.
Being proposed by individuals.
All right, it moved a little bit.
I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
But he literally took it off the table weeks ago. That was one of the conditions for him to become speaker. Or did you forget that?
Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
if you fix the supply chain, you won't have to worry about the debt ceiling, sir.
so folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right. I'm ready.
So if it was off the books, why did you mention it? If it was off the books, why did you mention it? 2024.
Unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are, let's stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare.
Yet
Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, And if anyone tries to stop Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that. I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud and damage.
Fam, did you hear what this man just said? He's stopping fraud in nursing homes. This is what this man just said. Fraud in nursing homes. Sir, you have 7,600 nurses running out there. Well, it's a little less now. You got them running out there with fake credentials, sir. I'm going to need you to go handle that. Oh, you're going to tell me that's a state problem, right? Until those massive lawsuits go federal, right? Yeah. Because guess what, sir? Your FBI is involved, which means it became a federal problem. $114 million scam, sir. Eric Curtis, hello. You seem new. Biden's a habitual liar, as all of them are. Sir, you got it, Biden. You got it.
Danger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion. It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill to cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75%, from $30 to $8. Look, junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels.
You the same scumbag 2 years ago who put out, this guy's an asshole. This is the same guy whose people put out a message on the White House official page saying you save 14 cents at the cookout. You insane, sir? Are you insane? I'm sorry. It was 16 cents. I'm sorry. I said 14. I meant 16. Tabernacle. There it is. Plan to cook out this year. Catch up on the new. You must heard. He thinks their puns are just great. Hot dog. The Biden economic plan is working. That's something we can all relish. The cost of the cookout is 16 cents less. The cheapest meat in the country was only down 2%. 16 cents. 16. 16. Yeah.
The company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost you up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable.
Did y'all hear that one? Did y'all hear that one? To me, that sounds like he's going after Airbnbs because those people make extra income. The White House mentioned that airlines, hotels, and resorts, as well as large termination fees for cell phone, TV, and internet providers will be targeted, along with entertainment tickets like sporting events or concerts, which are currently under public scrutiny, as reported by the New York Times. Junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most folks in the homes like I grew up in, like many of you did, President Joe Biden. The most recent update from Biden from Tuesday is the move towards reducing credit card fees and bouncing check fees to save Americans $9 million across the board, per the White House. Individually, this will reduce the annual late fee from the average late fee from $30 to $8. Sounds like he's going to go after Airbnbs.
Internet and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break.
They've been doing that for years, sir. You're just doing something about it now. You had an opportunity during Obama to do that. And a lot of them moved into just bring your phone number, we'll take care of the fees. Maybe I missed it.
We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees.
Are you nuts? You think Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and StubHub are going to give up their service fees? You think Uber Eats is going to give up their service fees? Uber, Lyft, Toast? Are you insane? They're making millions of dollars a week off them service fees. Are you crazy? That's just going to make everything else go up. You're going to tell credit card companies to lower their service fees? Yeah, I would love to hear what American Express says. I would love for them to hear that because they charge the most on them credit card machines. I would love for them to say something on that. I would love to see their response.
Fees up front and will prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage. Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So passed.
And Major,
The
hello.
Drug Free Prevention Act, so companies stop ripping us off. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. For example, I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So
Yeah, it's called not learning the secrets of where you're going to go to the competitor. That's why they have clauses in their contracts. You're talking about contracted workers, sir. That helps your capitalistic system that you love so much. That's like a worker at Nestle learning all the secrets, quitting one day, and then going to the rival. They could literally put them out of business within a year. That's smart.
a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more.
That's a lie. Come on, dude, that's a lie. Don't tell that lie. Come on, bruh. Those are for contracted people, not hourly people. You know that. Stop it.
It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it.
So you telling me if I worked at McDonald's and I want to go to work for Burger King, you're gonna tell me I can't do that? Boy.
That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth. And I must tell you,
Look at these squad a-holes. Look, that is a ugly woman right there. God. Why she look like Lisa Turtle if she went in the Urkel transformation chamber and then went back from Stefan to Steve? This is Lisa Turtle in an alternate universe. She married Screech.
this is bound to get a response from my friends on my left but the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act.
Here we go.
Because business has
Here
a
we
right.
go.
Workers have a right to form a union.
Right.
And let's guarantee all workers have a living wage.
Right,
Let's
sir.
make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days. Paid family.
Because that worked out real well in Amazon up in Staten Island. That worked real well. That man sat right there. He was about to get something going, and y'all told the squad to go get at him and put him under the wing. Yeah, that worked out real well, and he sold out. That worked real well.
Family medical leave. Affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work. And let's restore the full child tax credit, which gave tens of millions of parents some breathing room and cut child poverty.
Y'all notice when they mentioned the child tax credit, they slowed down their clapping, right? Y'all did hear that, right? All right. Maybe it was me.
In half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity. We increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work These plans are fully paid for, and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it, universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up.
No shit.
Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us.
No
Any
shit.
nation out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job.
Are you going to say school choice?
Providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's get.
How about this, sir? I'm going to help you. You want to compete 21st century? I'm going to give you an opportunity to do this. Sir, it's very, very simple. Hell, we can even start in elementary school. Elementary school, middle school, high school. Sir, you turn them back into recertified stations of education. That's how you compete, sir. No reason why 5-year-olds should not learn coding. No reason. No reason middle school kids can't learn nursing. No reason. No reason high school kids shouldn't go back to learning how to build cars, how to do construction, civil engineering. No reason, sir. You could easily teach them kids from preschool all the way to graduation day of high school STEM field. There's no reason why you can't do that. None whatsoever. But you won't do it because of one thing. Y'all going to say it's money. It ain't money. You know as well as I do, an educated person in this country can make their own rules. They won't need you. They can make their own moves. You won't even pass vouchers. And you're a Democrat. You won't even pass vouchers. You'd rather lock up black parents who want to send their kids to a better school by lying on applications where their address is.
Public school teachers a raise.
Oh yeah, we need to get more money to indoctrinate our kids.
We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America, in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not.
Y'all don't like trade agreements. Y'all don't like trade schools, sir, because you can't track them. I'm going to say it again. The U.S. government does not like trade jobs because you can't track those people.
And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed, and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat. Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them. And fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we've recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people.
Hey, Nigerians. He just declared war on y'all. Jamaicans. He just declared war on us. Haitians, he just declared war on y'all. Liberians, he just declared war on y'all. Including you white folk that scam as well. Except y'all will go to blue collar court. Y'all will go to white collar court. All the rest I just mentioned before them white folk, they're going to blue collar court, which they hit them harder with charges. Hey, especially you Nigerians, y'all are in trouble. Jay the Informant, I know you heard about the Democratic mayor in Georgia, I believe Stonecrest. Houston COVID money only received 2 years in prison. Oh yeah. Yep. We'll talk about that before I go. Matter of fact, let me pull it up.
That for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know.
Mm-hmm.
But too often that trust is violated.
Mm-hmm.
Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome.
Here comes the bullshit.
We had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law.
No, that man did not. No, he didn't. No, play it again. Say it again, Biden. I just want to make sure you said it.
Imagine to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law.
I know my ass didn't deceive me. I just wanted to make sure.
Gonna equal up to this real shit.
Fuck that nigga talking about.
Is he insane? This man, Hold up. This man.
Quiero llorar, dude.
Every black person that was killed by the police in the 8 years that him and Obama was sitting in the White House yelling at HBCUs about getting extra funding, sending guns to cartels, spying on the media. I know every single one of them parents are right now doing this with their keyboards and their smartphones. This man cannot be serious. He just said that. He's trolling. This man, Mr. I don't want my kids integrated into a racial jungle. This man who, if you don't know if you for me or Trump, then you ain't black. This man who last year said, family, correct me if I'm wrong. Did this man not say last year, refund the police? Refund them. Refund them. Refund them. Did he not say this 4 times? While all of them were up in there clapping. Now in a year, you found some heart. Now you want to call out the police? I get why you called out the police, sir. Because it was 5 black officers that did that. Because if it was 5 white or non-black cops, you never would have said that. You never would have said that. They wouldn't have got invited to the State of the Union. And as big as Tyree Nichols was, if that was non-black cops, he would not have got that much attention. Y'all are not slick when y'all try to make us degenerates. Y'all know. Y'all know how to work. I'll give you that. Whoever writes your speeches, sir, they got you. They put a good line up in there. That was a great line. Because now it's going to sound like you're demonizing the cops. One more time for the folk before we get back. One more time for the folk.
Quiero llorar, dude.
Hey, yo, my man. Y'all know. Boy. This is, man. Hey, all y'all to come up there talking about some Biden, he better than Trump and all that. Man, y'all better go somewhere. Y'all really better go somewhere. Because he about to be persona non grata in every goddamn police station in the country. You heard what I'm talking about. That's gonna be the man. They finna throw off Family Matters because of what them 5 cops did. HBO Max will not carry it no more because of what them 5 cops did. And Florida, I was telling everyone to vote for Trump, but they just don't listen. What? I told them the same thing. I was like, listen, y'all might as well just vote for him for another 4. Y'all could have had y'all party next year after November 4th. Y'all would have a 60-day party before the new person get in. Nah, y'all wanted to be the smartest people in the room. Now you sent us on a path to hell. Have fun.
Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car.
This This mother. Oh my God, who wrote this? He just brought up Tamir Rice and Philando Castile and Walter Scott. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Say it again.
Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car.
You
Most of us
cocksucker.
in here,
You jack off. You could go, man, you could go somewhere.
Insult to my existence.
I hate him. How dare you invoke Tamir Rice and Philando Castile? How dare you? Sir, that happened under your administration with Obama, and y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all name dropped them and brought their parents to the State of the Union. That's the move. You need no ending qualified immunity, no Fed charges. Y'all let Tamir Rice killer go all the way across the country to go get another job. Luckily, we caught him and said, nah, he no go. At least I think they convicted Philando Castile's cop. I think they at least did that. Man, this guy, I can't believe he just did that.
Gonna equal up to this real shit.
Yeah, fuck that nigga talking about. Yeah, fuck that nigga talking about.
have never had to have the talk, have never had to have drive your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk.
The talk. He said the part out loud. He said it. He said it. White people don't have to have their talk with their kids. I can't believe he said this. Facts. Thank you, Jaquez. This man can. The people who were present with George Floyd, they're all still not in jail. Y'all want to impress me? Do this. Y'all want to impress me. When y'all convict these cops, let them not have the option for appeal. Impress me. How many appeals is Chauvin going to get? Amber Geiger tried twice to get out. Your parents ain't had to talk. That's what you said. Guess what? That Courtney chick who killed Christian Obumseli, y'all let her walk around for months before y'all said, let me put some charges on her one time. But you're talking about cops not doing their job, sir. Hey, divestors, I'm actually gonna be nice for once. Lawrence Smithfield's killer got to go home because they said he was too nice. He couldn't have done it. Hey, Kansas City, did you find the person who killed that woman out there? Disappeared her one time. Did the fentanyl overdose? Did you get her killer? Is he down? No. Chad Wheeler's still not in jail, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all know that. He beat the hell out that woman. Got to talk to Gayle King and everything. He's still walking around. He ain't in jail. Bet y'all didn't know that. Got arrested. Got to go home. Did y'all know he violated his court order 6 months ago? Did you know that? He took off his ankle monitor.
The talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children.
You're hearing
Hunter, Ashley, my children. I never had to have the talk with them.
right, because you told them, hey, just say your last name is Biden.
I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like
Motherfucker, you learned that in driver's ed.
that every single time the kid got in the car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her.
Here we go.
When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and carry that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence.
Sir, you were a senator when the FBI came out in 2006 with their report about the white supremacist groups in law enforcement. Sir, you guys could have done something then. You didn't do it because they didn't affect your neighborhood. See, when the drugs came to y'all neighborhoods, y'all moved. Y'all moved swiftly to make sure y'all didn't do that. Y'all had Dare show up, all this Mother Against Drunk Driving. Y'all had all them initiatives ready. I'm sorry to say, but maybe y'all need some more of what we're getting in our neighborhoods over in your neighborhoods. Maybe that's when y'all will move and maybe start recognizing that maybe all them police ain't good police. Even though most of them are not. I'm just saying. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt very, very minusculely to the good cops. The few and far between. Maybe they need to do some what they call traffic stops that end badly in some of your nice rich neighborhoods, some of your nice upper middle class neighborhoods, some of your middle class neighborhoods. And they need to be done on white folk by white folk. Maybe then y'all will get the message. All these gentrifiers in our neighborhoods, maybe they need to catch what we be getting. Maybe then it'll change. That's just a thought.
Law enforcement earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely.
Go tell, I forget her name. Go tell Mrs. Rice that, sir. Go tell her that. Because her son had, even though I didn't agree with that young brother playing with a toy gun in the park, because I know how people are, that boy had a right to go home. That boy had a right for y'all, for them cops to yank that boy up and send him back home to his mama. That boy had that right. Y'all took that right away from that boy. Sandra Bland had a right, even though she threw that cigarette at the cop, she had a right to get a desk appearance ticket and go home. Go back to her, go to where she was going in Texas. Go see her people. She had that right. Oscar Grant had the right to not get pulled off that train defending his old lady. And that cop not shoot him. He had the right to go on his way, just like all those people on the train had the right to go on their way. Hell, give him a desk appearance ticket as well. He had that right. Eric Gardner had the right to go not have his life snuffed out by white cops led by a black woman because of selling some cigarettes. Even though y'all arrested him multiple times before, he had that right, though. It's funny, y'all have all the rights when you're white. She didn't throw it at the cop. She argued with him. I don't think she threw it at him. According to what he said that she flicked it at him. Whatever. She still had the right to go home. She had that right. It wasn't that serious for her to get dragged into jail and put in a situation where her life was taken away. That's what I'm saying. But M. Flournoy made a great point. Them male boys can play with guns all day. Ain't nobody made. Philadelphia, Biden. How quickly did y'all leap that cop up that killed that 12-year-old on the street? How quick? Y'all were real quick. Y'all found out his name. Y'all knew what precinct he worked out of. Y'all got him scooped up, fired, and under the jail. Under the jail. But y'all let the white boy in Memphis go home. He was still getting paid. And just because social media says something, that's when y'all moved. I don't like this man. Whoa, what does that mean? She anal. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're anal. Yeah, I'm a grammar Nazi as well.
Equal protection.
Look at this. Lord have mercy. Damn, they just brought all the gargoyles out tonight.
Law is a covenant we have with each other in America.
Bet down.
We know police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day. And we know we ask them in many cases to do too much to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We do not tell them to do none of that. Don't tell that lie.
Yeah, drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense.
Well, maybe they wouldn't have to handle the mental health crises if you and your boys over there, Reagan and all them, didn't shut down all the mental health facilities. Blacklight Revelations, hello. Maybe if y'all did that, maybe if y'all reopened Creedmoor up in New York and all these other mental health hospitals, y'all cops wouldn't have that problem.
We ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk. and they risk their lives every time they put that shield on. But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need.
Oh, Jesus.
Hold them to higher standards.
Qualified immunity has to end. Just say it.
Help them succeed in keeping us safe. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime.
That sounds like refund the police again. That sounds like refund the police.
More community intervention programs. More investment in housing, education, and job training.
That sounds like refund the police.
All this can help prevent violence in the first place. When police officers or police departments violate the public trust, they must be held accountable.
What did he just say?
Must be held accountable. Where police departments violate the public trust, they must be held accountable.
Really? You're going to hold them accountable, sir? What, you going to take away their federal funding, sir? Is that what you're going to do? And Flo and I say, yep, didn't it seem like that's when the homelessness problem ticked up because they threw the people out of mental hospitals? Yep, especially in New York. We were cool in the 90s. I'm telling you, crime was bad, but when Giuliani came in and crime started to downtick, it was cool until Creedmoor closed. And those who don't know what Creedmoor is, it's a mental hospital in Queens. It's like it's right near the Queens Long Island border. When they closed that facility, not only did all them jobs go away, but all those homeless people got moved around the city. They all started ending up in hospitals. And you know the hospital folk, they'll just say, hey, patch them and track them. Did he come in with injuries? Clean them up? Maybe let them sleep it off for a couple hours if they're drunk? Send them right back on the street. They'll come right back. The police jumped out on Tyree while he's by his son who has all the drugs and the child stuff, but we're not going to talk about that here. Torian, good morning. Good afternoon, I should say. I take all this as political theater. For what to me, everyone will watch V for Vendetta on endless loop until they know every plot point. Oh, yeah. Black Light said, I ain't a fan of Trump, but I think Trump's kids turned out more functional than Biden's. Yeah, they're just white.
With the support of the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement,
and qualified immunity.
Signed an executive order for all
and qualified immunity.
Federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act.
Okay, you did it for the federal cops. What about the state and local cops, sir?
Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true.
Who the hell is Tyler?
Something good must come from this. Something good. And all of us.
All y'all gonna do is outlaw special units. That's all y'all gonna do. So y'all gonna put all them cops back on the beat and you're gonna stress them out even more.
All of us.
Yes, Torian, he said Tyler. He got Tyree right 3 times and then said Tyler.
Folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was
and qualified immunity.
a plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them.
Oh, Lord.
Do something about gun violence.
Oh, Lord.
Thank God.
Oh,
Thank
Lord.
God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer.
I don't know what that means.
And Brandon now works at the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. And he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside.
Oh, God.
And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestle the semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already
I
killed
saw
11
that.
people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
No. Do not ban assault weapons. No. I'm gonna tell you why, and I know some of y'all ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. You ban assault weapons, you basically just told the government to run us all over. The government ain't doing what they're doing because they know a lot of people in this country have assault rifles, just like the army and these cops do. We can protect ourselves, sir. Now, I agree. We should vet everybody. I agree with that. But for you to say ban assault weapons, no, sir. Assault weapons are one of the few things we have in this world right now to make sure y'all don't go completely crazy. We can't really form a militia without weapons when y'all act out of line. We not finna go just march up to the White House with just handguns while y'all got assault rifles and rocket launchers ready. We not gonna win that fight. Now again, vet people, I'm all for that. And the white boy got a misdemeanor on it. I don't think they should have access to guns. And if they do and do something with those assault rifles, they need the death penalty. Even if they don't hit nobody. That's what you should do. But you're not going to strip away our power to defend ourselves.
I led the fight to do that in 1994. In 10 years, that ban was law, mass shootings went down.
That was Lauren Boebert who was shaking her head, Torian.
After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together on immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again.
Sir, yeah, they tripled, but guess what? Who was doing it? Yo people. Y'all will never address who did it. Yo people did it. White people. Y'all will never go after your own unless it's some stupid social issue. How about I would be impressed by it if you told your white people, just like y'all got mad at Trump for telling the Proud Boys to stand by and stand down. Tell your wife to stand by and stand down. Oh, I know, Torian, I can't, but this is the news. We got to talk about this and his constant lies. And you know it's bad when Washington Post has to fact check you and tell you that's not right. Yeah.
We now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border. 8,000 human smugglers seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border. And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, far more.
So you say you did all that, right? Hey, Biden, let me ask you a question, sir. What about does this include these 10,000 plus bags of fentanyl they just found this year in Philly, near Philly? 10,000 bags. 10,000. 10,000.
Workers, essential workers, here in the people's house.
By the way, y'all got pissed off at Texas for building the border.
It's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the.
Here we go. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He pissed. Look at him. Look at him. He pissed. Look at him. He pissed.
People's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the.
Secure the border. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, what are y'all talking about?
Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade.
Oh, Lord. We still on this again? We still on this again?
The constitutional right.
Why are we
The
back
Vice
on Roe v.
President and I
Wade?
are doing everything to protect access to reproductive
PD Chicago, hello.
health care and safeguard patient safety. But already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass.
Sir, when did nobody even propose that? The hell is wrong? Never mind. There's no point in doing a national ban, sir, because number one, the blue states aren't going to go for it. Number one, so it's a lesson in futility. They did it by state. That's enough. It's okay. You just want to have veto power. That's what it is. You want to make a show of you vetoing a national abortion ban. But you won't make a show of it to do a national qualified immunity rescinding. You won't do that.
Let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength.
I think Kamami's getting up and down like that because that's how Willie had her back in the 90s. Oops.
Strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous assault, evoking images of death and destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, a test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny. Will we stand for the defense of democracy?
If you want to talk about standing with people in the face of tyranny, you need to cut the check, sir. Sovereignty is cutting the check. You know that. But we've been here for about almost an hour of him talking, and he ain't mentioned reparations not one time. The first time he mentioned black people, he said black and brown. I know y'all peeped that. But when he talked about what the cops were doing out on the street, it was centered around us. He excused white folk out of this because they never had to talk with their people, but everybody else didn't get mentioned. He only kept it on us.
Such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity.
Negro, put your stick down.
And together,
What the hell wrong with you?
we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people. Tonight, we're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Ambassador is our ambassador.
She looked like Cameron Manheim. Go look that up one time.
Ambassador is here, we're uniting our support of your country. Will you stand so we can all take a look at you?
No, I'm good.
For more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. The Republic of China was increasing its power, and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. For years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader.
Here we go.
Who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet.
Ain't nobody ain't give you one. They're like, why is this man yelling like this? What's wrong with you, bro? You better stop before you crap your pants again.
Meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity
Thomas,
agenda
how
to
long?
the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health.
Lie.
We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more. We passed the Heath Robinson PACT Act, named after the late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year. I understand something about those burn pits, but there's so much more to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me
I'm sure
as
he
well,
did.
about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it. So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production and the sale and trafficking with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border. Working with couriers like FedEx to inspect more packages for drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more on mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit. There's time to pass bipartisan.
Y'all stole that from Trump.
Legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online, ban targeted advertising to children, and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. Third,
I want to hear you say you're repealing Section 230, because you know damn well if you said that, Zuckerberg and the dude at Google would be the first ones to call you up, tell you what the hell are you doing.
let's do more to keep this nation's one truly sacred obligation to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent, because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country. Dennis McDonough is here, the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans to help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need.
And send fake nurses to those facilities to put them under their care.
We got to do more. And fourth, last year,
Film
Jill
animation
and I
art, hello.
reignited the Cancer Moonshot that I was able to start with. President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years. Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter, Ava, and I saw her just before I came over. She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of radiation, 8 rounds of chemo, 1 kidney removed.
Biden just told everybody he's Team Swirl.
Given a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes, I can't stay. Many of you have been through that as well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next month. They just found out Ava's beating the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer.
That's cool.
And she's watching from the White House tonight, and she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save.
Huh? Y'all got this little 4-year-old in the White House? I'm not even going to touch that one.
For the lives we can save and the lives we've lost, let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and proves that we can still do big things.
No,
20
Jay.
years
No,
ago,
they
under the
don't.
leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success. He thought big. He thought large. He moved. I believe we can do the same thing with cancer. Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers once and for all. Folks, there's one reason why we've been able to do all of these things. Our democracy itself. It's the most fundamental thing of all. With democracy, everything's possible. Without it, nothing is. The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th.
Oh,
And
Lord.
then just a few months ago,
Uh-huh.
an unhinged big lie, assailed and unleashed a political violence, the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, using the very
Sir, first off, that was a Democrat that did that, and he was illegal. We're not going to do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't put that on the Republicans. He was not a Republican. Don't do that. Number 2, how about you address what's going on in Oklahoma right now when all them folks over there ran up in the Capitol building over there? Why don't you say something about that? Because those are all trans rights activists, sir, and abortion rights activists, sir. So those are Democrats. Ah, that's right. It wasn't federal land. That's right. That's right.
very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up.
Y'all peeped that, right, fam? Y'all peeped that. She not even sitting with this man. She's sitting right here. She pissed that he brought it up. But he all over here next to the Ukrainian ambassador and whoever the hell this is.
And as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up.
Hang on, this man got his skull cracked. How is he walking around this quick? This man had to have emergency surgery to fix his skull getting cracked. And he up in less than 3 months? That must be nice.
But such a heinous act should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor. Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue.
Put down your cane.
Americans faced a moment where they have been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it. And this is our moment. My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point, one of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history. We're not powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we, the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best. Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We're good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea. Only one. Other nations are defined by geography, ethnicity. But we're the only nation based on an idea.
What?
That all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God. A nation that stands as a beacon of the world. A nation in a new age of possibilities.
No, he
So
didn't.
I've come to fulfill my constitutional obligation to report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong.
Here we go with the lie.
Because the
Ultimate lie.
backbone of this nation is strong. Because the people of this nation are strong. The State of the Union is strong.
Quiero llorar, dude.
I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight having served as long as about any one of you have ever served here. But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Out here telling lies, boy. Hey, Biden say you black Biden sexuals. Hey, let me talk to y'all real fast before we play this video, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Black Biden sexuals. Your man didn't even mention y'all not one time. I hope y'all realize that. He loved on y'all last year. This year, not so much. I'm just saying. But let's hear the Republican response, and then we'll get up out of here.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
That is a hell of a green screen.
Being a mom to 3 young children taught me not to believe
I don't care about none of this. My bad. I don't care about nothing she talking about. Let's get to the show.
we're the freest country the world has ever known, with a people who are strong.
Come on, let's get
and
to the show.
resilient. 5 months ago, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It was a hard time for our family, particularly our kids, Scarlett, Huck, and George. But we kept our faith and persevered.
I'm sure
Thanks
you
to
did.
exceptional doctors here in Arkansas, a successful surgery, and the grace of God, I am cancer-free.
Okay,
Through
that's
it
great.
all, I couldn't help but think about my mom. She was 20 years old and in her first year of marriage when she was diagnosed with spinal cancer. The doctors told her she might
Come on, let's get to the show.
mob that can't even tell you what a woman is.
All right, here we go.
In the radical left's America, Washington taxes you and lights your hard-earned money on fire. But you get crushed with high gas prices, empty grocery shelves, and our children are taught to hate one another on account of their race, not to love one another or our great country. Whether Joe Biden believes this madness or is simply too weak to resist it, his administration has been completely hijacked by the radical left. The dividing line in America is no longer between right or left. The choice is between normal or crazy. It's time for a new generation of Republican leadership. Upon taking office just a few weeks ago, I signed executive orders to ban CRT, racism, and indoctrination in our schools, eliminate the use of derogatory term Latinx in our government, repealed COVID orders, and said never again to authoritarian mandates and shutdowns. Americans want common sense from their leaders, but in Washington, the Biden administration is doubling down on crazy. President Biden inherited the fastest economic recovery on record, the most secure border in history, cheap, abundant, homegrown energy, fast rising wages, a rebuilt military, and a world that was stable and at peace. But over the last 2 years, Democrats destroyed it all. Despite Democrats' trillions in reckless spending and mountains of debt, we now have the worst border crisis in American history. As a mom, my heart breaks for every parent who has lost a son or daughter to addiction. 100,000 Americans a year are now killed from drug overdoses, largely from fentanyl pouring across our southern border. Yet the Biden administration refuses to secure the border and save American lives. And after years of Democrat attacks on law enforcement and calls to defund the police.
And Flournoy, that's actually partly true and mostly false. Latinx is from that younger generation of Latin folk that want to be inclusive and all that bullshit. Those are the ones that are trying to erase the fact that there's so much ethnic separation in Latin countries. They don't want to try to that we all are one bullshit. Most Latin people don't go for that. They want their uniqueness. So they push back on Latinx. But they're only doing this to appeal to that voter base that's starting to come into their states. They don't want they want everybody separated. That's the only reason right there. He slipped right past that border convo. He wasn't going to touch it. He did mention the border though. He said something about he hired more agents. Whoop-dee-dee. But they were the same ones that got pissed off that Abbott was starting to work on the border himself. But y'all got it. Continue. Fiona the ogre.
Violent criminals roam free, while law-abiding families live in fear. Beyond our border, from Afghanistan to Ukraine, from North Korea to Iran, President Biden's weakness puts our nation and the world at risk. And the president's refusal to stand up to China, our most formidable adversary, is dangerous and unacceptable. President Biden is unwilling to defend our border, defend our skies, and defend our people. He is simply unfit to serve as commander-in-chief. And while you reap the consequences of their failures, The Biden administration seems more interested in woke fantasies than the hard reality Americans
There y'all
face
go
every
again with
day.
that woke.
Most Americans simply want to live their lives in freedom and peace. But we are under attack in a left-wing culture war we didn't start and never wanted to fight. Every day we are told we must partake in their rituals, salute their flags, and worship their false idols, all while big government colludes with big tech to strip away the most American thing there is, your freedom of speech. That's not
Hey, brother Torian, I'm finna help you with this
normal.
real fast.
It's crazy, and it's wrong. Make no mistake, Republicans will not surrender this fight. We will lead with courage and do what's right, not what's politically correct or convenient. Republicans believe in an America where strong families thrive in safe communities, where jobs are abundant and paychecks are rising, where the freedom our veterans shed their blood to defend is the birthright of every man, woman, and child. These are the principles Republican governors are fighting for, and in Washington, under the leadership of Senate Republicans and Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we will hold the Biden administration accountable. Down the street from where I sit is my alma mater, Little Rock Central High. As a student there, I will never forget watching my dad, Governor Mike Huckabee, and President Bill Clinton hold the doors open to the Little Rock Nine. Doors that 40 years earlier had been closed to them because they were Black. Today, those children once barred from the schoolhouse are now heroes memorialized in bronze at our State House. I'm proud of the progress our country has made, and I believe giving every child access to a quality education, regardless of their race or income, is the civil rights issue of our day. Tomorrow, I will unveil an education package that will be the most far-reaching, bold, conservative education reform in the country. My plan empowers parents with real choices, improves literacy and career readiness, and helps put a good teacher in every classroom by increasing their starting salary from one of the lowest to one of the highest in the nation. Here in Arkansas and across America, Republicans are working to end the policy of trapping kids in failing schools and sentencing them to a lifetime of poverty. We will educate, not indoctrinate our kids, and put students on a path to success.
I can't hear no more. I can't hear no more. Ma'am, your people out there getting pissed off over a cartoon on Disney Channel because they talking about reparations. Now y'all pissed off at the cartoon on Disney Channel because they got the Black guy dating white women, and the white girl chose her friendship with the Black girls because she wanted to get with Kanye. That's the name of the kid in the show, by the way, Kanye. This is what y'all focused on. Y'all not focused on fixing the supply chain. Y'all not focused on getting rid of qualified immunity. Y'all not focused on making sure that Black folks can get reparations for the Black American descendants of child slavery. Y'all not focused on that. Y'all focused on bullshit. And then you wonder why we don't care what y'all say. See, if y'all would have came down and talked to us in the new Black media in 2020, y'all would still be in power right now. Hell, you'd have had Trump still there. Y'all would have had your little minority. Well, maybe you'd have had a bigger minority, a majority in the House. You might have the Senate right now. You could get things done, but y'all didn't want to listen. Y'all thought y'all could do it without Black folks. Well, there you go. There you go. So this, yeah. So when your boy lost, y'all got upset and y'all vowed to do nothing about it except January 6th. And now here we are. You got a slim majority and you ain't gonna get nothing done. Well, our black grassroots candidates are coming. So yeah, we all them old codgers that y'all had up in there, yeah, they gone. Y'all can hold that. But that was the show, family. Thank you so much for coming in. That was fun. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun. Well, I ain't trying to hear nothing Sarah Huckabee Sanders was talking about. She was just talking a whole bunch of nonsense. But yeah, this was fun. So we're all in the general consensus that Biden lied the entire time. And a lot of that stuff that he's trying to implement, Trump already did. But he's just trying to put his name on it. If you don't believe me, there you go. There's a fact-checking site for you. Y'all can have fun with that. Y'all can have fun with that. But I know y'all getting ready to go listen to Torian's video in 20 minutes, which I will be as well. But anyway, y'all, let me get up out of here. Y'all know what to do. Cash App is on the bottom. Make sure you subscribe, share the stuff out, like it so we can get it in the algorithm. And yeah, we just move forward. So anyway, y'all. Oh, and the boat video is up as well. So y'all can take a listen to that before you go check out Torian's video. And check out Beatzilla later tonight. Anyway, y'all, take care, stay safe, and y'all know what to do when the agitators of peace come to mess up your day. You know what to do.